Afternoon, folks. Just going to go over a few more things about Shaun Attwood. I have had a video idea in mind for a while now, which is this one, but I got the inspiration to make a video after seeing some hilarious screenshots today where people have asked Shaun on his channel to answer to this channel, and his response is that I'm a troll that's obsessed with him and that he doesn't answer trolls anymore. I found this quite funny when Shaun himself has repeatedly said that he'd take full responsibility for the Daddygate prank if things went sideways, which I think we can all agree they have. He also said that he understood people's legitimate concerns and he even apologised. I don't think he really acted remorseful, but he certainly tried to pretend to. But now anyone who asks him questions is a troll, apparently. And not only am I a troll, but apparently I'm obsessed with him as well because all my videos are about him. I don't know how this actually would tie into an obsession, but I do notice it's a word that people like to use. So let's maybe turn it around onto him and take a look at what his videos are about, just to see what he's obsessed with. Well, recently he's actually gone on a clip frenzy where all he's done is posted basically loads of old clips from old videos about gangsters, and that has muddied the waters nicely. So when you look at his channel, it just looks like gangster content. But up until a week or two, maybe, all his videos were actually about paedophilia and abuse for a long time. That's pretty much all he was posting on. So I'm going to go on the assumption then that he's obsessed with those topics by his own logic. You can actually scroll through his channel. If you search the word pedo, and I actually just typed in the American spelling, there are dozens and dozens and dozens of results. You can scroll for, well, I had to stop scrolling, but it was going to continue. So he must be tagging almost every video with the word pedo for some strange reason, even ones that are completely unrelated, such as a couple of videos that he's got where he's been interviewed by some local lads. Why on earth is that coming up when you search that word? Is there an innocent explanation to that? Is he just tagging everything with that word? I don't know why he would be doing that. Who's he trying to appeal to? What kind of clicks is he trying to get? Very strange. But not only that, but he wasn't actually always obsessed with this. He did legitimately tend to be a more gangster and crime focused channel. And although he has muddied the waters recently by putting on so many clips from old videos about gangsters, there was a strong and noticeable uptick in the pedo content appearing on his channel around about the same time that he was dressing a prostitute as a child in his private time, which is of course very interesting, to say the least. But I'm not going to make any connections because I'm not a troll, but you do give people a lot of ammo to be a troll if they like Shaun. So maybe stop calling people trolls when they're just asking legitimate questions, because I'm pretty sure we could troll if we wanted to. If the small creators that are covering this, such as myself, are trolling Shaun by making videos about his misdeeds, then is he not trolling everyone that he makes videos about? Or is he simply asking questions? I'm sure he'll be applying that double standard. He is duplicitous, as we've all been made aware, and he has been sussed out by people that have met him as completely bent. So much so that they're actually happy to say it in public. But yeah, and anyway, I thought he was the troll. He was the one pranking Androgyny, was he not? Was that not trolling her? He seems to have a thing for accusing people of things that he himself is doing. It's quite Machiavellian. And that's something I might look into regarding Shaun. But I think you could probably learn a lot about Shaun Attwood by listening to how he describes other people and the kind of accusations he throws around. Another thing Shaun's getting asked a lot about at the moment is Darren G, and why Darren has recently effectively denounced or criticised Shaun in public. And Shaun keeps saying, oh, it's my trolls, Darren's just falling for the trolls, they're doing things in my name, which is not the way I think things have actually gone down. I think the issue may well be, and this is just speculation, but when Shaun did his Prince Attwood apology video with Sonia on brand YouTube, he specifically, for no reason whatsoever, in my opinion, than just to drag someone else's name into things, brought up Darren's name. And he brought up completely unfounded allegations, not even allegations, just unfounded rumours, which fell apart to the slightest investigation. Obvious bullshit, those rumours. But Shaun knew this, and yet he brought them up to an audience of people, of 10,000 plus people, who had likely never heard them before, and described the rumours to the audience. In fact, it was tens of thousands of people that were watching that video, in order to take some heat off himself, presumably, and presented it as proof that false stories can come up. So he just dragged Darren's name into things for absolutely no reason at all, and then associated it with some unpleasant things in front of all these people, and now he wonders why Darren G thinks he's bent as fuck. Dragging other people's names into things just seems to be a tactic of Shaun Attwood. He knows that mud sticks, and if mud is sticking to other people, then it's less noticeable when it's stuck to him. I think that's probably his tactic. When Darren G called him bent, he wasn't joking. It's really difficult to get more crooked and underhand than Shaun Attwood. So before I get into the main topic today, which is the permanent stain on Shaun Attwood's karma from him violating the rights of other people, not to be beaten and threatened, I just want to remind everybody to subscribe. I got a huge response to the Philip Schofield video, and I do absolutely love all the feedback and positivity that's coming from the audience. But 80% of viewers are actually not subscribed, which I think is crazy. So hit the subscribe button if you like this content and you want more. And while I'm on that as well, if you like this content, you should definitely check out my friend Truthy, the Truth Bomber himself, at his podcast, What is Truth? I'll put a link in the description, but if you like more of a longer podcast style listen, covering all these topics and more, then go over to his channel and subscribe to him. It's also handy to be subscribed to different channels in case one channel goes down for whatever reason. You can get news about that when you're subscribed to other channels. So like I say, I'll put a link down below to Truthy's channel, and you can go and subscribe to that. So today's video, basically, I just wanted to remind everybody that Shaun Attwood has ordered beatings and made threats to people much weaker than himself. And this is, in my opinion, as I've said, a permanent stain on somebody's karma. Unless you've fully atoned and feel utterly ashamed of your actions and seek to put it right, you're still that same person. The only thing stopping Shaun ordering beatings now is the fact that he now deals with law-abiding citizens. And if he was to threaten or attempt to threaten myself or another law-abiding citizen, we would just pass that information on to the police straight away. Because he's dealing with people that aren't afraid to deal with the police. Shaun's beatings as well, the beatings that he dished out, they were far from manly. We've got him threatening women, drug addicts actually. We've got him threatening to burn this woman's house down. But not only did he threaten to burn the house down, he actually attempted to do it. This was over a $25 debt that this drug-addicted woman had with him. He actually tried to burn the house down. A neighbour witnessed him trying to light an accelerant, I believe it was petrol, at the woman's front door. He was arrested for that, but presumably he paid for a reasonably good lawyer, and his charges were dropped down to something that resulted in no jail time. But then we've got a beating, and I'm sure there's many, many more of these. I very much doubt from the sounds of this one that it's the first time. But this beating, it's something else. So what he actually did, he had a debtor, somebody that owed him money, £10,000 funnily enough, or $10,000 I should say. And Shaun Attwood actually drugged this guy with sleeping pills, sedatives. So I'm presuming Valium or something along those lines. So this debtor ended up getting drugged. He got driven out to the desert by Shaun Attwood and a few of his cronies, and they beat the shit out of him, leaving him soaked in blood. Not only that, but they planted drugs on him. So if he ever went to the cops, he'd be arrested for possessing drugs. So that does just show us again that Shaun Attwood, he's very underhanded. He's a complete schemer to do that, to plant the drugs on somebody after you've beaten them up. And he's responsible for violent assaults on people that crossed him. And who honestly drugs somebody with sleeping pills before they beat them? I mean, if you're going to beat somebody, be a man, you know, just beat them. You don't drug somebody before you beat them. It's just, I can't get the words out. It's so odd how cowardly that is. It's just so, it's just crazy. I just can't believe it. Drugging someone in the first place is a sign of a full-blown psychopath. But beating them afterwards is bordering just on pure evil. I've heard the argument that you need to be violent to deal drugs, but I don't buy that argument for a start. Shaun Attwood, he chose to be in the business that he was in, and he still had a choice not to cross the line into committing violence against other people. He had the choice not to do that, but he decided himself to cross that line, to put fear into people's hearts and minds, to attempt to burn people's houses down, which is insane. If you can just imagine trying to, setting fire to a house, how, again, it's cowardly, but it's evil, in my opinion, or bordering on it at least. So he's committing violence against people, he's beating them up, he's drugging them, and he's doing that all by choice. It's not like he had no free will. He chose to do these things, and this is a stain on his character, because that is his character. That is him. That is the man that many of us, including myself, really enjoyed watching and really liked. And I just don't know how he looks at himself in the mirror in the morning, knowing that he's been responsible for so much violence and pain. Instead, he just writes books about it. He talks about being reformed, but what does he do outside of YouTube, apart from that one prison charity? And what does he actually do for victims? He says his normal self, this is how he describes his normal self, is yoga and meditation. Well, it's not very descriptive, but okay. So he says he lost his yoga and meditation normal self when he did the Daddygate prank. Well, when was the last time we ever heard Shaun Attwood talking about yoga and meditation? When was the last time he had somebody on to talk about yoga and meditation as a method to reform yourself after you've been living a life of crime? He's just absolutely unreformed. He's a sham Attwood, a deeply unpleasant, two-faced man with an unhealthy interest in sexual abuse and sadism. He tries to target people with rumours and misinformation. He tries to tar everyone around him with his grubby little brush when his dirty deeds get made public. The idea that he didn't inform on other people as well is now starting to look laughable to me, considering his desperate need to drag the names of other people into his scandals, other people that are not related to his scandals. And his answer to them is that it was trolls that did it, just like it was a prank. He needs to change the record, and he needs to get a new defence, and he needs to take a look at himself if he thinks asking questions of other people on YouTube, a public forum, is trolling. So anyway, folks, thank you very much for watching. As I say, I really appreciate the feedback. Also, just remember, 80% of viewers are not subscribed, so if you're watching this just now, do subscribe so you can get more of this content when I put it out next time. But that's it for me, folks. I'll be back soon. Cheers.